Hello everyone! Today, I want to share 2 moments from the Brazilians innovating on the teaching of English course that quietly reshaped the way I teach. They are simple moments, nothing dramatic, but they opened a door I didn't know I needed, and they led me to a clearer, calmer, and more student-centered classroom. The first moment happened when I truly understood backward planning, not as a theory, but as a practical way to think. Before, I used to start with activities. I would look for something fun, something interesting, and then try to connect it to the goal. It worked, sometimes, but it also created confusion, long explanations, and moments where I wasn't sure if students really understood what the lesson was aiming for. Then, something shifted. I learned to start with the end, to ask myself, what do I want them to be able to do by the end of this class? How will I know they reached it? And suddenly, the rest of the lesson didn't feel like a puzzle anymore. It felt like a path. When I planned a lesson using backward design for the first time, something unexpected happened. My instructions became shorter without me even trying. Because the destination was clear, the steps became clearer. The activity fit the goal, and the students knew why they were doing each part. It was the first sign one small change could unlock many others. The second moment came a little later. I was watching myself teach, like recorded videos, reflections, small pieces of classroom time, and I noticed something I hadn't seen before. My voice was everywhere. Not in a bad way, but in a way that left very little space for students to speak, think, or try. It was a general realization, not a criticism. It made me ask another simple question. Well, if my goal is to help them learn by doing, why am I doing most of the talking? That was when the first moment met the second. Backward design didn't just organize my lesson. It reduced my teacher talking time naturally, because with a clear goal, I didn't need long explanations anymore. I didn't have to give 5 examples. I didn't have to repeat every instruction. The structure did the work, the student did the work, and my voice stepped back just enough to let theirs step forward. These 2 moments changed the atmosphere of my classroom. The students became more active because there was room for them to be active. They talked more because they weren't waiting for me to finish talking. Group work felt more intentional. Tasks felt more connected to the goal, and I felt less pressure to perform the lesson, and more freedom to guide it. It wasn't a big transformation. It wasn't a complete redesign of my identity as a teacher. It was simply 2 small understandings that unlocked a more meaningful way to teach. If there's one message I would want to leave today, it's this. Sometimes learning just one thing, one concept, one strategy, one shift, quietly fixes many others. For me, backward design didn't only change how I plan. It changed how I speak, how I listen, and how I create space for my students to grow. Thank you.